to the Tea Room. We have a update today with Susan Daniels with Daniels Private Investigators, and she had some news on the Social Security number that President Barack Obama is using. We covered the story, I guess 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and just wanted to give you guys an update as to how the investigation is progressing. Susan, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Helen. I'm happy to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, Susan. Always good. So fill us in. I've got two items in front of me. One is a response to a letter you sent to the Social Security Administration with regards to the Connecticut Social Security number that the President is using. And the other item is a certification of a Social Security number that follows President Obama's by 3 numbers, and wanted to ask you to talk to us. Let's start with the Social Security certification first. The Paul Michael Graziano, who applied for a Social Security number in, it looks like, Trumbull, Connecticut. And why don't you fill the listeners in on this certification and what it means and how it affects the investigation?
Well, his number is actually 4 numbers after Obama's, not 3. His number ends in, Obama's ends in 4425, and Graziano's ends in 4429. The reason his information is available is because he is deceased. If you look on the application, he applied in, it was March of 77, and also it looks like the number was issued the 28th of March in 77. Now, Thomas Wood, who was one number before Obama's number, which is 4424, and he is also deceased. He also got his, was assigned his Social Security number in March of 77. So I think that we can unequivocally say that Obama's alleged Social Security number was issued to him in March of 77, since before and after him both got theirs that month. Now, the thing that's interesting is in March of 77, Obama, who was born in August of 61, would have been 15 years old. And at 15 years old, he was in high school in Hawaii, nowhere near the state of Connecticut. And there's no way that he applied for and got a Social Security number in Connecticut.
Well, I don't know how you could do that.
It can't be done. Not only that, if he had actually done that, there is, you will see from both forms, from Thomas Wood and Paul Graziano, they are like handwritten cards that you fill out with your information, where you live, all kinds of pertinent information about yourself, including your address. Now, if Obama has this Connecticut Social Security number, the Social Security Administration would have an identical card for him, handwritten, filled out, and with a Connecticut address on it. And I don't think they got one.
I don't either. There has been, after our initial interview, there was some question as to whether his father, Barack Obama Sr., may have been living in Connecticut in, now we know, March of 1977, and you and I both know that fact is incorrect. Would you like to address that?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to, because I never watched Bill O'Reilly, because I think he's a jerk, and a pompous jerk at that. And I was flipping stations the very night some woman had sent in a query about Obama having a Connecticut Social Security number. And with complete authority, O'Reilly says, well, his father lived in Connecticut for several years, and he probably got it that way. Now, that was an outright lie, and it took a lie to such an extent that they scrubbed it from the podcast, and O'Reilly didn't show up on wasn't on his show for the next 2 days. That was a blatant lie. Barack Obama's senior, and I'm assuming that's actually Obama Jr.'s father, although there's a lot of theories about whether he is or not. But Barack Obama Sr. left the United States in June of '65. He came back for one visit in December of '71 and went to Hawaii. He then returned after a month, I think, to Kenya and never came back again. There is no mention of Connecticut in Obama's book, Dreams from My Father. He never mentions it anywhere. And I don't believe he ever was in the state till he was running for election or had been elected.
Fascinating. Well, now, the other item with regards to an update is you sent off 3 letters one to the Social Security Administration, another to the Department of Justice, and a 3rd letter, I believe, to Selective Service.
No, actually, I never sent anything to Selective Service. I sent 2 to the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, and whoever was in charge of criminal investigations. I don't have the name off the top of my head. And I did the same thing with Social Security. I sent it to Astro, who was in charge, and one of his minions. I wanted to make sure that either one of these organizations got a letter. And I got a response today.
Tell us about that.
Which surprises me because I probably sent those off more than a month ago. But the letter I received is some guy who is acting associate commissioner, whatever that is. That's what this guy is. That's his title. And it's hilarious because he writes, after reviewing the information you provided, we disagree with your conclusion that a person's Social Security number depends upon the address of residence, period. I mean, that's his entire explanation.
Well, I have that letter in front of me, and as I was sharing with you earlier, I have never seen a letter come back from any kind of governmental agency, whether it's federal, state, or local, where a citizen is challenging or asking for particular questions to be answered, and in this case the Social Security number that Barack Obama is using, and to receive a letter like this simply just saying they disagree with you without citing any kind of code, without citing any kind of factual evidence of any kind that states where you are wrong. Instead, they just simply say, we disagree.
I know. It's hilarious. I mean, they don't send me to any section of the rules of the government. I mean, we disagree. I thought it was hilarious.
I think it's stunning. I think it speaks volumes.
Well, I think it does too, and I think they would have been better off not sending me this letter because it is so weak that it actually supports my position.
Yes, it does. I do agree with that. I do, and I think any person who any individual that is looking to their governmental sources to provide them with information that's contrary to information they have, to receive a letter where it's just simply a disagreement is just beyond reasonable. I'm flummoxed. So, do you think you're going to hear anything from the DOJ?
Oh, no. I didn't expect to ever hear anything from anybody. But you know what? I wanted to put them on. I mean, I didn't want them to ever be able to say, well, nobody asked us to investigate. I wanted to be able to prove at some point in the future that I had made a legitimate inquiry of both sections of the government, Fortunately, he sent us back because what he does is verify the fact that I had sent a letter asking for an investigation. And I think that was really nice of him.
I do too. Wow, we need to do a tribute to this fellow.
Well, his name is Frank Biro. So
I think we're going to call him the Hero of the Week.